Welcome to EduSkills OET Made Easy. This is a very different approach to OET learning. I'd like to tell you how to fall in love with the OET. Are you ready to travel with me? Let's have an experiential learning approach. Let's enjoy the personalized learning approach. So today's is a simple thing, but very interesting task. In writing, we'll be taking a 1-minute business. Hope I'll be able to complete it with 20 minutes at least. Basically, I found majority of you have the issue with the purpose. And could you just tell me, in the beginning, we'll have few clarifications. Could you tell me where do you find a purpose in a letter? The purpose of the letter?
From writing task.
Writing task.
Writing task, where is it located? The writing letter, in the letter, which?
At the last
Last part.
No, I'm asking, when you write, the letter is ready now. Where should you are sending me a letter or a referral letter or some letter to me. And where do I search for the purpose? In your letter, not in the case notes.
Introduction. It will be introduction.
Introduction.
Okay. Introduction. Okay. Introduction includes what?
A patient name and a purpose and diagnosis and whether the patient is going to be discharged or not. It will be in the after reference part.
Okay. And what is the criteria, assessment criteria of purpose? With this session, you will be done with your purpose thing. You will get, definitely you can get 3 out of 3. You know, it is scored 1, 2, 3. Purpose is scored 1, 2, 3. And after 2.0, 2018 onwards, purpose is given prominence in the letter. And if you don't get a 2 out of 3, even if you get full mark in all the other criteria, you will not get a B. See, all other 5 criteria, assessment criteria are scored 1 to 7. And you have to get a 5 in everything. But then you get all the 7 in all the 5 criteria, but in purpose, if you don't get 2, you will never get a B. So purpose is not just in the introduction, purpose is throughout the letter. And that's what we're going to look today. The 3 marks will be assessed, not in the introduction, 1 sentence or 2 sentences, to be throughout the. So OET 2.0 writing introduction, okay? Let's see how we fall in love with this writing subtest. Writing skills we'll be looking into. And content of this segment will be what is the purpose we'll look into, how to identify the purpose in the case notes, how to write the purpose, and what are the components of the purpose. And I'll be giving sort of 3 types of templates probably, but templates are never recommended by OET. This is just to begin with or for your practice or to assess your own writing purpose. And by now, by the end of this session, you will know how to assess your own purpose and give exact score for that. Okay. So these are the things we are going to look into today. And what is the purpose? Where do you locate the purpose in your letter? You know why purpose is important. What are the aspects assessed in the purpose? How do you know what the purpose of the letter is? Okay, now first, what is the purpose? What is the purpose? The reason for writing. Purpose is the reason for writing. What are the reasons? Normally, to request ongoing care, or to inform the reader about the condition of the patient, or to transfer the care of the patient. So, what is the purpose? Sorry. Purpose is scored 1 to 3, 0 to 3. Okay. You have to get a 2 out of 3 if you have to reach B. So as I told you in the ISBAR, all these segments, like 6 segments of assessment are there. And everywhere you have to get a 5 out of 7, all these 5 segments. But in purpose, you have to get 2 minimum to get a grade B. So, but then we are not looking into B. I hope all of you are looking at A. So aiming at A, so try to get more than 2, like get 3 in writing purpose, then definitely you'll get a good score in other things. Okay, where do you locate the purpose? Okay, it is the introduction and identification part in the ISBAR, as I told you, introductory paragraph. If you haven't seen the particular video or attended the session, please go to the link below and find out the introductory paragraph, ISBAR, and the detailed explanation on that. So in the ISBAR, the first one, I introduce and identify, there you find the introductory paragraph, which includes purpose. So that's where you locate it. So purpose, look at the task first, then express clearly in first paragraph, provide details later, and adapt for each task. Flexibility is the key. This is the board you have to remember. Write down before you start every letter. You write down in caps flexibility. Okay, there's the key. So introduction. What is introduction? Introduction includes, in short, it includes main medical issue and the purpose or the request what you are requesting them. So the main medical issue. Then, para second, detail the main medical issue. See the connection. That's why I said the purpose is the general statement, which is developed in the whole letter. As I told you earlier, even in IELTS or TOEFL or OET, everywhere, this is like the introductory paragraph gives the thesis statement. Thesis statement means the main idea. For example, if you are speaking about diabetes, you will say how it's a disease developed by lifestyle or caused by lifestyle, and how you can manage it by maybe diet, proper workout, exercise, or medication, all those things. So introduce the whole thing. Then the same introduction is expanded, explained in detail in the following paragraphs. So also, if you write a clear introduction, you know what next comes. So immediately, what is the medical issue? That will be explained. The symptoms and the details given in the medical case notes will be explained in the very next paragraph. After the introductory paragraph, the second paragraph will detail the main medical issue that's being mentioned in your introduction, what you call the purpose statement. Okay, so then you have the secondary issue and other tertiary issues, other details, all those things. Then you have the request that we don't go there now. And as I told you, this is the 7 components, and introduction comes here. Okay, 7 components of a letter that's being explained in the previous session. I am not going in detail over there. So all these things are explained. Just to tell you, purpose is here. Okay, the 4th component, purpose is expanded immediately in the next paragraph. That's very, very important. If you are able to successfully do these 2 things, rest you will be able to manage. Okay, then other paragraphs, then request. And body of the letter, 100 to 80 to 100 words. It begins from purpose. Your word count begins from here till request. Okay. So this is just an example for you, just to locate where the purpose is. Okay, date, address, and it can be either way, like with after the address also, it's fine. All those things you are sure. Okay, purpose, yeah, just to locate where the purpose is. Purpose expanded. This is the focus of today's segment. Yes. And now introduction, then the most important question, that is purpose expanded, then secondary and tertiary other informations. Okay. So OET assessment criteria, purpose of the letter is immediately apparent and expanded on the body of the letter. So immediately apparent and expanded on the body of the letter, which means it's immediately apparent in the introduction paragraph, but it must be expanded on the body of the letter. It should be explained in detail in the other paragraphs in the body of the letter. That's the assessment criteria. So where do you locate? For example, introduction. Task is who you are writing to and what is their job role or designation. You locate it in the writing task, large portion of the case note. So first you have to go to the last portion, then you have to get back. What's your role in the patient's care? In the beginning of the case note, soon after the date. So you have to immediately come back after you go to the writing task. Immediately you have to come back to the first beginning of the case notes. Then what type of letter? Purpose of the letter in the discharge plan. Okay, most recent information that is given in the discharge plan, just above the writing task. I hope this is very clear to you. If there is some beginner, I am just giving you. So as soon as you have to start your purpose, you have to go to the last portion of the case notes, that is writing task. Then you have to get back to the beginning, initial stage steps or the lines of the case notes, soon after the date. Then again, you have to get back just above the this one, what you call task, your task, where you find discharge plan or the most recent information. That are the 3 steps, 3 places where you locate yourself to get the details of your purpose statement or introduction. And this I'm not going to explain to you because I have done it in the introduction, just to tell you, introduce and identification. These are the, as per the ISBAR criteria, the internationally accepted, the sole communication model for health professionals is ISBAR. And that gives you these things in the introduction, provides relevant information, including who you are, age, gender, marital status, reason for writing, chief complaint, degree of urgency. Okay. Now introduce and identify. First one is initiation. This also I explained to you, IPCP. Okay, the acronym. Initiation, details of the patient, then chief complaint or the main issue, then purpose. These are the ingredients of a introductory paragraph. Okay, we'll be taking examples for this, and details will be given in that. Okay, initiation, for example, this one example. Okay, in many other ways are there. Initiation referral letter is I am writing to refer. Okay, then you have the details of the patient. Miss Peterson, comma, age 56-year-old single lady. Miss here dot is not required. Even if you put a dot, you will not be penalized. But as on now, Miss, after Miss or Mr, there is no dot. After doctor and all those abbreviations, you don't have. You don't need to put your dot. Even if you put, you will not be penalized. But then you will be penalized if you don't put a mark a comma after Peterson, after the name. That is must. That's punctuation. That's a criteria, assessment criteria. So the first after Miss, I have highlighted a yellow there. There you don't require to put a full stop or this one dot. After Peterson, you have to mark a comma. A 56-year-old single lady. After 56 hyphen, no space between 56 and hyphen, no space between hyphen and year. No space at all in both the cases, year and old. So 56-year-old, don't write 56 years old, year-old single lady. That is the second segment of your introduction. Okay. Third segment is chief complaint, who was diagnosed with pneumonia or whatever. Then full stop. Okay. That's the first sentence. This is the main issue or the chief complaint. Then you have purpose. What is the purpose of your writing? What the reader requires to do? So she requires your advice and management. So they have to go with this task. The reader is supposed to render advice and management. This is a simple criteria segments. So the sentence looks like this. I am writing to refer Miss Roberts, comma, a 56-year-old single lady, comma, who was, there is no comma mentioned here, there should be a comma, who was diagnosed with pneumonia. Okay. After Robert's name, comma, after 56-year-old single lady, comma, who was diagnosed with pneumonia, full stop. She requires your advice and management. So your introductory sentence can go with one sentence or two sentences. Never ever close more than 3 sentences. If you can do it with one sentence, fine. Otherwise, maximum 2 sentences. Okay. So what are the aspects assessed in the purpose or in the introductory statement? Purpose criterion, as I told you, immediately apparent and sufficiently expanded. But the key is always, I am highlighting this, key is not to by heart something, but flexibility. Learn how to adapt to the situations. You don't know what situation and what type of letter you are going to get during the exam. Okay. Purpose of criterion, purpose criterion, immediately apparent, immediately clear and easily identified. Immediately apparent means, what is the meaning? It is immediately, your purpose is immediately clear and easily identified. Easily identified means it is in the first paragraph. This is the general purpose of the letter. Then you have to detail it in other paragraphs. This is the general statement. We can call it in other words like thesis statement in IELTS language. Okay, but always remember, key is flexibility. So purpose criterion, immediately apparent, immediately clear and easily identified, first paragraph, general purpose. So the purpose of your letter is immediately apparent, is the first segment of your purpose or introductory paragraph. For example, Mr. Lionel Ramamurthy was admitted on 4th February 2019 having contracted pneumonia, full stop. He is now ready for discharge back into your care tomorrow. Okay, we will get back for the discussions on these things. Just giving you some idea to discuss on. So the sufficiently expanded, second criteria says it should be sufficiently expanded later in the letter. How specifically the reader should support the patient. You have to specifically, in detail, you have to explain in the coming paragraphs, later paragraphs, how specifically the reader should support the patient, how he has to report, what he has to do, all those details. So the purpose of your letter is sufficiently expanded. See, this is the first statement, your introductory paragraph, as I read now, but then immediately your first paragraph should detail this one. For example, here, having contacted pneumonia, it says, so definitely that is the condition, chief complaint. So your next paragraph, the second paragraph after the introductory paragraph, will speak about the symptoms given in this case note, not symptoms of pneumonia, which you know, but the symptoms given in the case notes regarding this particular patient. You have to write those things. On admission, he was experiencing fevers and rigors. He suffered dysphonia, wheezing, and sleeplessness. He had chest and abdominal pain due to prolonged persistent coughing. See, these things are on admission, what was happening. Again, you will be giving in the hospital what happened, on discharge, what's going to happen, or what are the medications to be continued, all those details in chronological order. So this is what known as sufficiently expanded. This tells you, this particular point tells us, it's not, purpose is not restricted to the introductory paragraph. It's being expanded till the end. Even the request will reiterate the purpose of the letter. So the whole letter is smeared with the taste and color and flavor of this texture of your purpose of writing the letter. Introductory paragraph is the general statement which is being explained later in other paragraphs. Okay. So key is flexibility. Again, I'm highlighting. Always think of that because many of you are using templates. So para 1 is introduction, main medical issue plus purpose. Keep that in mind. Main medical issue plus purpose is the gist of it. Main medical issue plus purpose should include obvious medical issue. When I say main medical issue, main, I am stressing because there could be many medical issues, secondary and other things. Should include the obvious medical issue. Where do you find it? Where do you locate in your case note? Which can be taken from reason for admission, or sometimes in some case notes it's diagnosis. In some other case notes, it could be treatment record, or some other case notes presenting complaint. So under these headings, you can find the main medical issue or the chief complaint. Okay. And based on the medical issue, refer the patient to a health professional, specialist physician, or for examination, for further care request, all those things. Okay. Based on that main medical issue, you will write the purpose. Yes, distinguish between, I told you, distinguish between main issue and secondary issue. Example, if a patient suffers from headache and dizziness, you have to determine which one follows the other. That's the importance. And if you miss that, the whole track will be missed. The main and secondary issues should be described in separate paragraphs. Don't mix them up. Definitely the main issue should be expanded in the very next paragraph of the introduction. That is the very second paragraph of your letter. Yes. Now coming to, how do you know what the purpose of the letter is? Each set of case note includes the context, your role, and writing task. The context, your role, and the writing task. So, see, you have this here. Who are you? Okay, charge nurse, should be, arrow should be here. Okay, and what's happening? Okay, and type of letter. In the writing task, you will find type of letter, discharge letter. If you don't find here, you can go back to the discharge plan. You will find it there. To whom are you writing? It will be found in the writing task. Why are you writing? The reason for writing. That's also found in the writing task. And existing relationship. And you know, the known case and unknown case, what you state, that is very important as regards the purpose when you write the purpose. So if they know that the whole letter will change depending on whether the person has a previous relationship with this particular patient. So these are the ideas that you have to find out from the case note for your writing your purpose. So more information found towards the beginning of the case note. For your purpose, for writing your purpose, you have more information, required information in the beginning of the case note. As I told you, first we went to the last portion, writing task, then you come to the beginning, where you find the name and age of the patient. And also you will find main medical issue. No, I told you diagnosis or treatment plan, main medical issue, And so you have here all these things. These are the 4 aspects or 4 areas where you find the details required to write your introductory paragraph. The beginning, then you have admission or diagnosis, treatment, those portion. Then you have the notes, then you have the writing task. Based on this, you'll have to identify the name, how connected to you, and why you are writing. That is the gist of introduction. So based on these details, just go through the details. Patient name, Mr. James Smith, age 68, admission to 21, diagnosis fracture right neck of MR after a fall. Treatment, total hip replacement. This is put in brackets because always they may not give a cause for a particular medical issue. Sometimes they do give the cause. And notes, whatever the hospital and the details, then writing task, all those details. So I am writing regarding Mr. James Smith, who underwent a total hip replacement on 2/21, is ready for discharge today, and ongoing care is required. So all the aspects are covered here. Our total hip replacement article is that after I am writing regarding the initiation, Mr. James Smith, the name, after that there is a comma, who underwent a total hip replacement on 2/21, is ready for discharge today, and ongoing care is required. Ready for discharge, what's happening now, and when, and what is to be done in the future. So the past, present, and future, all the timelines are used in this particular introductory paragraph. What was happening on admission or otherwise, what is happening now, what is to be done in the future by the reader. Okay. So I am writing regarding Mr. James Smith, who underwent a total hip replacement. All this I am highlighting because this is the template. I tell you for you to practice. Now, not to practice if you are not a beginner. If you are a beginner, this is the template just to begin with practice, but then you should be flexible to write in your own way, where I'll be showing you different introductory paragraphs now, how you can be flexible. But if you are not a beginner, if you have been practicing for a certain period of few months, now you have to take all your previous letters and assess your letters and find out whether you have included all these segments and aspects of assessment criteria in your introductory paragraph. Full stop, he is ready for discharge today, and ongoing care is required. You see the timeline? So who underwent, that is past tense, total replacement, that is past tense in 2/2. And he is ready for discharge. What is happening? The present tense, present timeline, we call more than the tense. I'm telling you the timeline. Today, discharge today. What's happening now? What happened? What is happening now? What has to happen next? That is, an ongoing care is required. What is to be done next? The future timeline. The past, present, and future timeline is clearly given in the particular introductory paragraph. So all these things are included that can be even combined and written in one paragraph. So it's the beauty of it. Those timelines, if you miss the beauty of the paragraph and the cohesiveness of the paragraph and the completion of purpose will not be perfect. Okay. Ongoing care, general purpose. Need to expand the general purpose with the details. Ongoing care, when you say there is a general purpose, then you have to detail in your other paragraphs what is the ongoing care required. Even in your request, specifically, you have to mention what do you mean by ongoing care. Okay, explanation of it. Okay, patient's name. See what are the aspects you should include in your introductory paragraph. Patient's name, what happened to him, the past timeline. Okay, and when did it happen? Past time, if the details are given, when did it happen? Then what is happening now, the present timeline. What is happening now? Discharge today. Okay, then what needs to happen next, the future timeline. See the beauty of it. As they read the introductory paragraph, everything is in a succinct form. No, it should be pregnant with meaning, pregnant with information. So the beauty of it is this. Definitely with this format, you can assess all your introductory paragraphs which you have written, whereby I'll also be explaining to you on under different types of letters, how it is to be done. Okay. And I'll get back. You can write down, with your pen and paper, definitely you have, I hope. And you can write down. If I have to revisit the slides, definitely I'll come back. Okay. You can just mention which slide. Okay. Yes. So introduction, I'm giving you one template. second template. First, already I gave you the previous slide. Initiation, I am writing regarding, or if it is a referral, I am writing to refer, all those. So the purpose comes here. Introduction is here. Introductory paragraph. Patient's name, Mr. James Smith. Punctuation, comma. Okay. And the connective word. This is the syntax. Okay. Connective word who. Then what happened to him or her? Underwent a total hip replacement. Then next, when did it happen? On 2nd to 21, 2nd February 21. Then punctuation again, full stop. Okay. Then what is happening now? The present timeline. He is ready for discharge today. Okay. Then conjunction. And what is next? What needs to happen next? Ongoing care is required. Okay, this is second template if you want to use. In the meantime, you can also write, as Isbar said, Mr. James Smith, 56 years old, Mr. James Smith, comma, 56-year-old, comma, specifically when you have written a date of birth in the rare line, reference line, then you definitely have to write, you can write age here. Even if you don't write, it will not be penalized, but sometimes it's easy for the reference if the age is mentioned over there. Okay, that's another way I'll explain to you. But it's the minimum requirement is this. If you miss anything from this, you will be penalized. You can write in different ways. You must be flexible. Not only you can write, you must write in different ways. Adapt yourself into different styles of writing. That is a competency required of you by OED. Not by having some templates and writing, but this is the basic requirement. I put you every segment in this page. If you have this one template, you can assess all your previous introductory paragraphs. So once again, I'm telling you, initiation, I am writing regarding, could be like I am writing to refer, or you can start with the name also. I'll show you other ways of writing. You can also start with the name and go. Construction can change, but these aspects, this segment should be there in the introductory paragraphs. So initiation, I am writing regarding, or I am writing to refer, then the patient's name immediately, Mr. James Smith, then comma, punctuation, then connective word who, then what happened to him or her, the past timeline, underwent a total hip replacement, and when did it happen on this particular date, if it is given, punctuation, that is full stop, then begins the second sentence of your introductory paragraph, what's happening now? He is ready for discharge today. Now, conjunction and what needs to happen next. Ongoing care is required. As beautiful as that, to write an introductory paragraph. Such thing, 2 sentence or 1 sentence introductory paragraph. Hope that is clear. So this is the sentence I'm writing regarding Mr. James Smith, comma, who underwent a total hip replacement on 2nd February 21. He is ready for discharge today and ongoing care is required. A beautiful purpose statement, introductory paragraph. One more template I am giving you. If you don't feel comfortable with that, sentence 1, sentence 2. There are 4 things to be done: name, where, reason, and the cause. Cause I have put in a different color because sometimes cause may not be mentioned in my case note, in which case you need not write the cause. So second sentence will start with a pronoun because we have started the first statement with the name. Second sentence should start with a pronoun. Then discharge, or I have put a different color because it can be discharge or referral or anything. Then a phrase, then requirement phrase, what is required. And I'll give you an example. For example, here I am writing regarding plus name. Okay. First column, the initiation and name. I am writing regarding plus the name of the patient, where, who was admitted to our hospital, and when. Okay, who visited our clinic recently. So when aspect should be there. And if it is given, definitely it will be given. Then the reason, when it is planned, for heart surgery or something like when something is planned, the medical procedure or things are planned, it is for is used, FOR, for heart surgery. If it is unplanned, due to a broken leg or something of that sort, when it is not planned. And if the cause is given for heart surgery after a heart attack, okay? And if not unplanned, following a fall, maybe broken leg, following a fall. So this is another template, whereby this is the way you write the first sentence. I'm writing regarding Mr. Smith, who was admitted to our hospital for an endoscopy following recurrent regurgitation. So, or I am writing regarding Mr. Smith, okay, who was admitted to our hospital recently due to a broken leg following a motorbike accident. The cause is given there. This could be another template. The third template I want to propose to you if you want to assess your own writing. Sentence 2 will have this particular template or format. Pronoun he or she, discharge, is being discharged today, when aspect should be there, I said, or is due, that is not die, that is, sorry, there is a spelling mistake, is due, D-U-E, due to be discharged today. Correct the spelling, okay? And phrase now requires, okay? Now requires your care and support for home care and wound dressing, or ongoing management and support. Third one, further assessment and management. Any of these things, depending on the type of letter. Okay. Yes. And now, understand the task, what you have to do. Read the writing task, instructions, decide which information a professional or specialists need to know. That is the main issue. You have to decide which is the main issue. Then always remember this. Key is flexibility. Flexibility means not by hurting the things, not using the templates, but you develop your competency to write your own sentences, but then you know what aspects or segments must be included in your sentence. There should be all these timeline factors, the comma, punctuation, grammar, all those important things. So flexibility means for example, Mr. Layanamul Ramamurthy was admitted on 4th February 2019, having contracted pneumonia. He is now ready for discharge back into a care tomorrow. You can also start like this. Instead of writing this way, you can start the second option. Another flexibility would be, I'm writing regarding Mr. Ramamurthy, who was admitted to our hospital for hip surgery. He is scheduled to be discharged today and now requires your further care and support. So this is the flexibility we call it. We can change the order of the phrases. There is no issue. Okay. And flexibility, if you have to look into discharge letter, I'm writing regarding Ramamurthy, was admitted to our hospital for hip surgery. He is scheduled to be discharged today and now requires your further care and support, or now requires your assessment and treatment. And if it is a transfer letter, I'm writing regarding Mr. Ramamurthy, who was admitted to our hospital for hip surgery. He is scheduled to be discharged today and now requires your further ongoing care and support, or he requires your further continued care and support, or ongoing care and treatment, whatever you want to mention. Okay, as per the case notes. Okay, everything depends on the case notes. Referral letter, I'm giving some samples. I'm writing regarding Mr. Ramamurthy, who was admitted to hospital for hip surgery. He is scheduled to be discharged today and now requires your further assessment and management, or assessment and treatment. Yes. So flexibility again, some examples, discharge letter. Okay, I'm writing regarding Mr. Ramamurthy, who was admitted, already I read it. So variation could be, I'm writing regarding Mr. Ramamurthy, who was admitted to our hospital due to heart attack. He is scheduled to be discharged and now requires further care and support. Another variation could be, I am writing regarding Mr. Ramamurthy, who was admitted to our hospital due to a heart attack. He is being discharged today. However, he needs further care and support. When you write however, there should be a comma before a however and after the however. Okay. Transfer letter, if it is transfer letter, some of the variations, flexibility mode I am showing you. I am writing regarding Mr. Ramamurthy, who was admitted to our hospital for hip surgery. He is scheduled to be discharged today and now requires your further ongoing care and support, or further continued care and support, or treatment, whatever you want to say according to the case notes. Another variation could be, I am writing regarding Mr. Ramamurthy, who was admitted to our emergency department due to 2 broken arms following a motorcycle accident. No, only one comma there, full stop. He is being transferred to you next week and now requires ongoing care and support, or now requires continued care and support, or now requires your assessment and treatment, whatever. Okay, but then remember, emergency department is noun, so E and D should be capital, otherwise it will be penalized. The grammar aspect will be, emergency department is noun, so E and D is capitalized. Okay, referral letter, as I already read this, Another variation could be, thank you for seeing Mr. Ramurthy, who presented to my clinic with the clinical features suggestive of pneumonia, for which he requires assessment and treatment. Okay, another variation could be, I'm writing to refer Mr. Ramurthy, who has symptoms suggestive of pneumonia and now requires your further assessment and treatment. Okay, expansion of the general purpose, not very important, just to give you an idea, purpose doesn't stop here. You can find the expansion details in the discharge plan. Request, I would appreciate it if you could monitor his wound, all those things, informing something, physiotherapy twice a week. He has been referred to the physiotherapist who will be in touch to arrange visits twice a week. That's not very important, but I just want to give you an idea. The purpose doesn't stop with the introductory paragraph, but the whole texture, taste, color, and the whole idea of the general purpose will be expanded in the other paragraphs. So if you are writing a referral letter, it is to a doctor or a specialist, from a clinic or outpatient, whatever. I am writing to refer Mr. Joseph, who is suspected to have pneumonia or whatever. He requires further assistance and expert treatment at your service for a definitive diagnosis. Referral, always it is to somebody, doctor or a specialist. So you are suspected to have, in the case note, there will be a question mark. He requires further assistance and expert treatment at your service for a definitive diagnosis. And name, full name, first name, surname. Always there is an argument or confusion regarding, should you write in the purpose, surname or first name or full name. Always, since you have in the rail line the full name, the normal is not only for OET, that's the culture of the language or discipline of the language that once you use the full name, you can use the surname. You are not allowed to use the first name. Only Joseph. If I am Salim Joseph, you cannot use Salim. You have to use Joseph, the second name always. And if they are below age 17, the minors, definitely you can use the first name. Okay, that's the general principle. Not only for OET, this is the general thing. Anywhere you write or address people, you can't, even when you speak to somebody, if you are abroad and European countries, you have to use the surname unless and until they give you the permission and tell you, you can call me Salim or you can call me by my first name. They have to give you the permission. So, referral letter to another doctor or specialist. I told you, I am writing another variation. It could be this. I am writing to refer Mr. Joseph, who is suspected to have colon cancer. He requires further assistance and expert treatment at your service after his discharge today. Or another expression, as he is scheduled for discharge tomorrow. Or another expression could be, as he is being discharged today. One of these you can use. Even some other expressions you can definitely use, okay? And referral to the nurse, nursing home, rehab center from hospital, inpatient. I am writing to refer Mr. Joseph, who is currently recovering after a total knee replacement. Again, there is some confusion regarding after and from. Even if you write after or from, you will not be penalized. But usually a surgery, the best fitting word is after, and a disease condition, best fitting word is from. Okay, after a total knee replacement. He requires further assistance and continued care at your service after his discharge today or tomorrow or next week, whatever. There's a few variations I'm giving you. Don't worry about this. It's not that important, but just to give you an idea, there are variations. And to a physiotherapist from a hospital, you are dealing with the inpatient. I'm writing to refer Mr. Joseph, who is currently recovering after a total knee replacement. He requires further assistance and purpose given in the case notes. Further assistance and what is the purpose given in the case notes at your service after his discharge today, tomorrow. So don't write at your hospital or something of that sort. Better expression is at your service. That means any professional setting. It may not be medical, any professional setting. It also includes, in the medical context, it includes any of the medical settings. The risk is less here because when you are writing to a rehab or nursing center, clinic, hospital, different settings, when you use a common term like at your service, you don't make a probability of making a mistake or confusion is less. So that is one professional term you can use. Referral letter to a dietitian from an hospital. I'm just giving you to different people how you can do the variation in your writing. I'm writing to refer Mr. Joseph, who is currently recovering after or from, as you like, a total knee replacement, but I always recommend after a total knee replacement. A surgery goes with after, as for me, is better, but then you will not be penalized even if you use from. He requires further assistance Okay, in his dietary management or whatever the case note gives at your service after his discharge today or tomorrow or next week, whatever. But yeah, what I'm telling you, ultimately the template which I give you, the 3 templates, the segments are same in all the 3 templates. There is no difference. I have put in 3 format, that's all. Whichever you find easy, you can adopt that. But then every statement what I'm making here, all the introductory paragraphs are same. It includes all those aspects. Only when you are addressing to a particular person, there is some difference because there have been in the mental support many concerns saying that let us know how to write the introductory paragraph to different settings to as per the different letters. Okay. So referral letter, introduction pattern, he or she requires dash and dash at your service after his discharge today or tomorrow. Okay, that's the second sentence pattern. It's fine. We don't require those things. Okay, it's a transfer letter, introduction pattern, he requires dash and dash at your service after his discharge today, tomorrow. Be mindful of gender when you use reference or pronouns. Never ever mistake. Instead of he, don't write she, he will be penalized. Be mindful of the gender. Transfer letter, I am writing to refer Mr. Joseph, who is currently recovering after a total knee replacement. He requires ongoing management, continued care, whatever, in his dietary management or whatever, at your service, as he will be transferred to your service next week. See, this is the only difference here. Okay, this expression, as he will be transferred to your service next week or today or tomorrow after his transfer today, that also expression you can, whatever timeline that you want to use. That will be given in the case note. Transfer letter, known case, write to his GP or family doctor from hospital. I am writing to update regarding Mr. Joseph, who is currently recovering after a total knee replacement. He requires further monitoring and continued support at your service after his discharge today. He requires further monitoring, continued support. Okay, yes. Another one could be transfer letter. Same thing. I am writing to request a home visit or home visits, that you have to be very mindful if it is home visit singular or home visits for Mr. Joseph, who is currently recovering after a total hip replacement. He requires further assistance and continued coordination of care at your service after his discharge today or tomorrow or next week. Home visit, try to a nursing home. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Yes. Now you are on gallery mode. You can on your video. And if you have any doubts or if you have any realizations that happen, now I have given a perfect format. Don't get confused with all the formats. All the 3 templates which I gave you is the same. Whichever you feel comfortable, you feel like columns, you take that. Okay. Otherwise, you feel with the syntax model I gave you, which I taught even the sentence and formation of questions, how to write a definition, everything I taught you in the syntax model. You know, initiation, then the name, then comma, then the connective word, then rest of the thing, then full stop, then next starting the next sentence, all those things. Here, what you require is one of those templates. In the whole session, what you require is one of those templates. Out of 3 templates, take one which you are comfortable. Don't get into everything and get confused, and get back to your old letters if you have what you have written. Okay, and put them into those columns. Then you know something is missing. There is no issue that you can definitely score 3 out of 3 in your purpose. Because there is nothing, it's a small 1 sentence or 2 sentence. What are things to be included is the only idea. And now you know very clearly where you have to find the details. First in the task at the end of the case note, then come to the beginning of the case note, then go to the discharge plan. Okay. So you should be able to clearly identify immediately, as soon as, even without looking at the case note, you know where is the ingredients required or the things required to formulate your purpose sentence. So 2 or 3 can tell me if you were making some mistake or if you had any confusion or if you still have some confusion. And I tell you, there is no much difference regarding all these letters. Only thing, you should not ask the doctor to do what the nurse is supposed to do. Okay, that you know. And certain words, like for example, don't say when somebody comes to the clinic, you know, visualize that somebody is just walking into your clinic, right? So you can use the word like presented. He presented with these problems. Presented means he came by himself. Whereas to an emergency department, he cannot present himself. He is to be carried, right? So those, if you can visualize, this is what happening every day in your life, your practicing. No? Just you can visualize through the case note, you have to visualize always. And I told you writing begins with in the study plan. I have told you writing first, you have to visualize the case notes. Okay, visualize and try to write a recommendation or simply without any format, write your suggestion or your summary or advice to a friend. For example, I am sending you my father's, my dad's report and asking you an advice. Try to visualize those things, write down. Second stage is, if you are beginner, second stage is just go through the case notes and make them sentences, different sentences. Don't worry about letter structure. Maybe out of the whole case note, make 20 or 25 or 30, as many as sentences. Okay, then try to combine the sentences. Can you merge 2-3 sentences together and make a compound sentence or complex sentence or compound complex sentence? Okay, that is the third step. Then only go to the ISBAR and the structure layout of the letter. Then definitely you will be able to construct in layouts. By then you will have that expertise. And this is what you are doing every day. There is nothing special. Yeah, 2 or 3 can take your chance if you have any doubts or you want to comment on the session, so that I know whether you understand what I'm doing or I'm going very fast. I went a little fast because these are things which most of you are not beginners. Okay, only 1 or 2 I found beginners. Beginners definitely go to the videos because we have step-by-step video, writing step-by-step where you have all the tenses given. But I'm telling you, I have given you all the formats as if I'm giving to primary school students. Everything, every column you have to fill in, that's all. The columns are given. That's why I give you different envelopes. For example, if you want to create the column, write the column and fill in you can make such column in a big sheet and fill in all your purpose. You have written 20 letters, take the purpose, and then you find, oh, this comma is not there, or this particular word is not there, or before, after the name, before who, I have not put a comma. And for you to understand comma, for example, if I say Mr. Salim Joseph, without comma, you cannot go because you have to take a pause there. Mr. Salim Joseph, you can't go like that. Mr. Salim Joseph, who was admitted in this hospital. After saying Salim Joseph, there is a pause. There is a stop, like no semi-stop. You can't say Mr. Salim Joseph was suddenly you can't continuously go without comma. So definitely that you require a comma, because recently I found in a discussion people stressing that if there is no age mentioned, you need not put the comma. You have to put comma. Even if the age is not mentioned, after the name, comma, who requires or who is admitted, whatever. Before the connective word, put comma. And another model I told you as per the ISBAR, I did not explain because I have in detail I have explained in the previous session or in the video you can find, where you write the name, then the age of the person, name, comma, 56-year-old, one example I gave you here, then say admitted or discharged or whatever you want.
Hi, Father. Good morning.
Morning.
I am Reggie's father.
Yes.
Father, I have a doubt regarding actual service and from your service. Is there any difference from this two, or
Which one?
actual service? And we will write when we are writing referral letter, we will write
Okay.
actual service.
Yeah.
And in that we can write from your service also.
From your service,
Is
no.
that same?
No, that's not says. Not
Difference,
same.
Father, in that.
Yeah. That's the difference. Then from your service is like you can write, but then it's not the exact word to be used over there. Okay. From your service, usually when you get something from somewhere, you ask from your service. We have to send something from your service to you.
Okay. Like,
from to.
okay.
But then now the person is being sent there and he is going to be at his service. Not you are not getting something to you. Right now, from to. I'm getting something from your service to my hospital. Okay.
Okay. For example, Father, like if we need a wheelchair or something, we are asking from them. So that time we can write like from your service.
If you are requesting for a wheelchair or to your hospital, you can ask from your service. I would like to have one. To me.
Okay. Thanks.
From to me.
Okay.
From your service to my service. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Fine.
Father,
Yes.
my concern is that if you are writing, it's me, Soumya. If you
Yeah.
are writing and requesting a home visit, means is it okay if you write from your service?
From here?
If you are writing for a home visit, requesting a home visit means can we write from your service?
Yeah, from you can write because to a home visit. There you can use. But here,
Yeah.
what I'm telling you, certain things are not right or wrong. Okay. For example, if you say what I said earlier, like, for example, now if you don't mention the age or if you mention the age, it is nothing right or wrong. You will not be penalized for including or excluding. But then if you don't put a comma, you will be penalized. There is no choice. So certain expressions whereby you can use, for example, now I gave you these templates. Now there are different ways of constructing the sentence. Different words you can use, synonyms of these words which I have used. You will not be penalized. Whatever the structure of the sentence, you will not be penalized, provided you should be using the same aspect. But then you cannot change the timeline. You can't start saying what you should do, what he is now, what he was. You can't write that. You know, the timeline should be kept. He came, presented himself with this complaint, or he was admitted. Now what happened? He is getting discharged. Tomorrow what should happen? You cannot change the timeline, but you can change the wordings, the structure of the sentence. That's what I'm told you. See, if you have this visualization in your mind, it's so beautiful, right? See what happened in the past tense, present tense, future tense. Innale, inna, naale. You can start naale, innale, and in, right? So that way, that timeline should be in your mind. And punctuation is important, where you just neglect the punctuation. Most of your letters, and sometimes when I agree to correct your letters, I tell you, unless you write as per my teaching, I will not be able to correct you. There is nothing I can correct because the whole letter I will have to rewrite. There is no meaning, it will not benefit you. Some of the letters that I am getting, in spite of all these sessions, you have written in your own way, whereby if I have to correct, I have to write the whole letter again in my way. So that doesn't help you in any way, because no sentence will be correct, or then the formats will not be kept up. The idea, for example, if the future, past, present, and future, that timeline is not kept. Even if you made mistake in one timeline, I have to write the whole sentence again. So I'll have to write the whole letter again. So that's not called correction. And main challenge for you is that you are getting all the mentoring from different corners. At the end, you do not know what is correct.
Father, I am Rajini.
Yes.
See, if it is a non-case, for example, you have given there, we are writing discharge letter.
Yeah.
Okay. Then on admission, you have mentioned there he was experiencing and so complaints at the time of admission. What was there? See, it is already a non-case. No, is it necessary to mention again?
Which one? I didn't get it. No, we are not
See,
mentioning.
when we are expanding the
non-case, no need. Non-case, no need. I did not give you an example for that because non-case is understood. That's what I said. Non-case, you did not mention what was the trouble with. You have to mention only what happened when the person was under your care. You have to mention only the thing when the person was under your care. What happened, the person doesn't know. After admitting in your facility, what has happened, only that you have to mention. Previous histories you did not mention.
Yeah, there you have given like this. He is now ready for discharge, but into your care tomorrow. Then next, on admission, he was expecting, he was experiencing fever and rigors, like that you mentioned there.
No. For non-case, no. Fever and rigors. No. Fever and rigors. Pneumonia.
Yeah, yes.
That was not a non-case. That was not a non-case. If I take it for non-case, it was not a non-case. Pneumonia. I was giving a format. I was giving a format whereby to tell you if the first general purpose gives pneumonia. That was not our task at all. I gave you with the arrows down, no? That is not the part of purpose at all. I gave you a general idea to tell you purpose is not restricted to the introductory paragraph. Purpose is the general statement the thesis statement, the main statement, which has to be immediately expanded. The first, what is the main chief complaint, main issue, that is pneumonia. So the symptoms of pneumonia of this particular patient as given in the case note has to be immediately given in the next paragraph. Then, ongoing care, you say, what is required, the purpose. That will be expanded in your request. Details will be expanded in your request, specifically what all things you have to do. Ongoing care means what? We request what all things to be done. That will be again explained in request. So first paragraph, if then second paragraph will be like third paragraph, introductory paragraph, then second paragraph, as I said, they made chief complaint explain, main issue explain. Then the third paragraph will be subsidiary relevant issues that will be helpful to the reader to give them ongoing care, whatever the purpose is. So just to tell you, there is a connection between two. That's why I said, when it says it should be immediately apparent and expanded sufficiently.